Hello, gang. What's up? We won't be talking about any serious issue um, because if talked about, comes with serious consequences. And that is something that I've realized over the years that I've spent on social media. I still like to keep my videos raw and not too much edited. I try to correct the colors, but apart from that, I don't like to do a lot, you know, in terms of how the video turns out to be. You see, I see myself as a writer before anything, and then probably an actor. Um, I think I can say that because I've spent a lot of time acting, and I've done one film which is out there on my YouTube channel and also on another YouTube channel, which is called The Jigyasha Show. The film's name is Epic Shot, by the way. So, coming back to, let's say, now that I have at least a tiny bit of clarity over things that have been complicating my life since a very long time, I think with that clarity, I can say that, that I don't have to participate in a lot of things that the world as though asks of me to participate in. That way, life can be simplified a lot. If you supposedly, if you give up your trending dream, there's a trending dream that that is out there. Okay, for someone it will be a social media star, or someone it will be to become the world's greatest chef. I don't know, because that dream is out there. It's popping out of our social media feed to chase a lifestyle, basically, an unreal aesthetic, an unreal, you know, psyop that we participate in. And then we see in the latter years of our lives, we start to question things and live in guilt. If you're in the corporate world, thank God, because the mind will be consumed by, you know, the isolation that's there and also the kind of work that we do and participate in. And I think I can say for majority of the work that's done on in corporate world seems fake, or at least has no really, you know, value to provide. It's basically it's there for the internet's consumption. Um, yeah. So isolation, it leaves you with thinking, and once you start thinking, you start thinking about. I mean, what all is going on in politics and geopolitics? And if you are over 25, you'll I think understand what I'm saying, or even the Gen Zs now. Like even if when you're 18, I think you seem to know more about the world, more about geopolitics, than a person who was 20 years old in 2010, or 2015 or 2020. Times are changing. Artificial intelligence is taking over. But again, you see, even if you want to participate in bringing in AI, and which we automatically would not even be asked to participate in, whether we want AI to exist in the powerful manner it is currently working, taking over jobs of the humankind. Um, so once you start questioning things, when you're living in that isolation space, the mind starts to think, right? Even if you're in a corporate, I mean, if you're in corporate, you'll have an unreal life experience. But there's another completely different language model that operates in corporate, on different jargons that are used. Anything we've seen in the world, anything that has its own sort of language, turns out to become, you know, a place, a kind of an island, a kind of a culture where the similar kind of people roam around, have similar fight issues, similar moments of pride, and so on and so forth. But once the mind breaks out of this isolation and really starts to think what's going on in the world, like questioning AI, its morality. Tucker Carlson had an interview with Sam Altman where he discussed about this alleged suicide by this Indian person who was working in ChatGPT, OpenAI. And then Tucker Carlson continued to question Sam Altman on various other things about the moral grounds that this AI is based upon. Its intentions, its morality, where does it come from? And Altman had nothing to say but just to admit that it comes from him. It comes from heads of various research groups, and then it's him ultimately where it comes from. So then the population that has nothing to do with AI, the population that maybe uses it in work and but it doesn't, you know, their life is not, let's say, dependent on it. I think a person who's working for AI in AI ultimately later, I think, when he's done working with AI, will start questioning what we were working with, why we were working with it. And these questions seems to have no influence whatsoever in this current timeline. But later in the years when there'll be an AI, like the people who own AI or operate AI will be the most powerful people in planet Earth. And like with AI, you can hijack things, or you can hack things, or you can do so much and so much not. I mean, the military, you think the military wouldn't be, will be, you know, but the developers of I think the development of AI is quite late in comparison with the kind of technology we have currently in our world. I mean, you see these UFO cache retrieval programs, things that Bob Lazar was talking about in 1989 or 1979. I don't know, somewhere around that time when Bob Lazar was talking about UFOs and whatnot, what kind of air propulsion system, the propulsion system that these crafts use. You know, we've had technology from around, from either not from our galaxy, or they were always here. Who knows what lies behind? Who knows what lies beyond Antarctica? Why is there a military occupation? I mean, these questions about the world, the kind of world that we live in and participate in. Are we an experiment by some advanced civilization? Is what is this DNA? I mean, if I'm not wrong, chimpanzees and human DNA, there's like a 2% difference in our DNA. So couldn't we be experimented on? These stories about Anunnakis, which we call mythologies, Vimana, the word itself, is describing flying objects in Ramayana. I mean, if you check our scriptures, it's clearly mentioned what they're talking about. But it's a hard, it will be a very hard thing to swallow that UFOs exist. I'm not going to use the word UAP. feels like it kind of like camouflages or hides the real meaning. They're not, you know, unidentified aerial phenomenon and unidentified flying objects. It's pretty clear to use UFO. And I think Jesse Michaels would agree with me on that. But yes, I've been into UFOs since my father's death. I mean, I think even before that, maybe even before that, but it grew more. And I've myself had two encounters with UFO. I've recorded it. I've had the video published on my YouTube channel. If I haven't private, if I haven't private, I've put it on private. So yeah, I think there are technologies beyond human comprehension for now, and maybe the U.S. military, CIA, and other, these organizations and agencies know so much about them than the human public. I mean, in the United States, there are congressional hearings that are going on about the same phenomenon. I mean, these people are not crazy who are saying that I saw something for a fact. They are putting their reputation on the line. These military guys,